After 45 years, the Development Academy of the Philippines has much to be proud of. From its small but ambitious beginnings in 1973, the DAP has grown even beyond its founding fathers' vision and expectations. Over the years, the DAP was led by these men and women whose values, passion, and innovative ideas have greatly contributed to its growth. Their competent leadership laid the foundation for the DAP's place in history. Initially, the DAP was created to train career executive service officers in government. Later, the mandate has also included strategic and policy-oriented research and idea generation, in essence being the think tank for the government. It was a good connection. What started out as small ideas have today become institutions in themselves. They were innovations that identified needs and offered solutions, and which now continue to serve the public in many different ways. The DAP's early training and education programs for government executives were also unique and legendary. They can largely be credited for a bureaucracy that has remained professional, competent, neutral, even through numerous administration changes. The DAP also contributed to national productivity and introduced the concept of wiser use of resources for better results. It was instrumental in helping local governments rise above the disasters that hit them. Today, with its cutting-edge training and education programs, the DAP not just develops high-potential executives and managers, it is also molding transformative leaders in the public sector. Leaders who are quietly and efficiently responding to people's needs.
We need to open up our graduate school to visiting professors from abroad, and also to take advantage of the technical experts coming from the APO countries of which we are a member.
The DAP continues to help the government become more effective by pushing for the results-based performance management system, which ensures that the President's vision and goals for the country are implemented correctly. In 2015, the Philippines was recognized by the APO as the Center of Excellence for Public Sector Productivity, mainly because of the programs built to streamline processes and make service client-focused. Eventually, the public can expect shorter lines and quicker service. While keeping a low profile and being content to work in the background, the DAP remains relevant and sensitive to the public's needs and expectations.
DAP, as a knowledge institution, is a solutions provider. DAP as an institution is exactly what our bureaucracy needs at this time. An institution that creates the best ideas for our bureaucracy to work. And that is exactly what we need in governance. Unless there is such an institution, we do not expect change to come automatically.
After 45 years, DAP's founding fathers must really be smiling.
Welcome, everyone
Welcome,
from the
everyone
government,
from the government,
private sector,
private
civil
sector,
society,
civil
and academia.
society, and academia.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Although we can't
Although
meet
we can't
face to
meet
face,
face to
let's
face,
make this
let's
virtual
make this
event
virtual
interactive
event.
by using the chat box. Say good morning and share your name and organization for better introductions.
Please take a moment to greet each other. We are happy to see that various government organizations have joined us today. Let me acknowledge some of the Zoom participants. From Davao Regional Medical Center, welcome. Provincial Government of Antique, Philippine Children's Medical Center, Philippine Ports Authority, Local Government of Quezon City, Professional Regulation Commission, Philippine Heart Center, Philippine Health Insurance Corporation, Philippine Statistics Authority, Western Command AFP, Rizal Medical Center, Office of the President of the Philippines, National Kidney and Transplant Institute, Tarlac Agricultural University, Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, Philippine Science High School Central Visayas Campus, Anti-Red Tape Authority, Employees Compensation Commission, Securities and Exchange Commission, Manila Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office, Pangasinan State University Main Campus, National Housing Authority, Commission on Audit.
Magandang umaga din po to our YouTube participants. We have with us Pasig City Health Department, Research Institute for Tropical Medicine, Department of Health, Dr. Rizal Memorial Hospital, National Telecommunications Commission Region 4B, Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development. Good morning, City Government of Digos, City Government of Pasig, Department of Education. We also have participants from the Department of Agrarian Reform, Government Service Insurance System, Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, Department of Labor and Employment, Tangub City Global College, Professional Regulation Commission Region 3. Magandang umaga din po to our participants from the Local Government Unit, Mauban, Quezon, Department of Environment and Natural Resources Regional Office 5, Maritime Industry Authority, Local Government Unit, Bayambang, Technological University of the Philippines. Good morning, University of the Philippines, Diliman, Human Resource Development Office, National Economic and Development Authority, Quirino State University, Department of Public Works and Highways, City College of San Jose del Monte, Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, Nueva Vizcaya State University, Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Maynila, and of course, Technical Education and Skills Development Authority. Although we are just interacting with you virtually, we are still happy to see all of you. Currently, we have approximately 33 participants on YouTube. And how many do we have in Zoom? We have almost 500 participants in Zoom. We hope that everyone has registered their attendance through the Google Form link posted on the screen and chat box.
Thank you for the lively greetings. Your presence here today means a lot, showing your commitment to improving government services.
Before we start, let's make sure your audio and video are set up. First, check your audio by muting your microphone. Raise your hand or type heard if you can hear me. All right, great. Now, check your video. Activate your camera and type seen if your video is clear. Next, let me know if my video is clear by using your hand or typing clear in the chat box.
Paano ba mag-ano dito?
Ano ba?
Okay, it looks like everyone's set. If you have technical issues, ensure your internet is stable, refresh your browser, or contact our support team using the chat box. Should the problem persist, do not hesitate to contact our event support team for help. Feel free to use the chat box to notify us of any difficulties. The DAP project team is here to assist you. Ms. Carol Codilla and Ms. Flor Manalastas in Zoom, and Mr. Ped Garcia and Mr. John Principe on YouTube. Thank you all for your cooperation. Do you love capturing moments with photos? Share it with us. Tag us in your photos and stories using the hashtag SQS 20, 2023 shown on the screen, and let's create memories together. All the preliminaries were set to kick off the symposium at exactly 9 a.m. Before we start, let's make the most of the remaining time by registering your attendance. Please use the provided links to complete your attendance.
Please enter your full name on the attendance sheet as follows. First name, space middle initial, space last name. Again, first name, space middle initial, space last name. This, along with the evaluation sheet, will be used to generate your e-certificate of attendance. Also, for better identification during the session, kindly type your identification using the format agency space name. Again, the format agency space name on YouTube chat box and rename in Zoom. And remember, all the presentation materials will be accessible in the Google Drive folder, and you can find the link on the screen and in the chat boxes after the symposium.
We are still accepting participants. Please take a moment to invite your colleagues and friends to join us. This event is open to anyone interested in enhancing government service quality. And we want to extend this learning opportunity to as many individuals as possible through today's discussions.
Let's make sure that we are reaching as many people as possible and encouraging everyone to join us in this important discussion. Help us grow our viewers. Currently, we have 38 participants in YouTube, and we have approximately over 500 participants in Zoom. Your efforts will contribute to making this event more inclusive and informative. Feel free to reach out your contacts, letting them know about the symposium. Share your registration link and advise them to search for the 5th Government Quality Management Program's Service Quality Standards Symposium. Thank you for spreading the word. In the meantime, let us watch the Service Quality Standards or SQS 2022 throwback video.
Welcome! We'd like to share with you the 2022 Government Quality Management Program's 3rd Symposium on Institutionalizing Service Quality Standards, with the theme Best Practices in Using Evidence-Based Service Quality Standards to Delight Citizens and Business Clients. This symposium aimed to raise awareness on the whole of government satisfaction score and expectations given by businesses during the pandemic. It was one for the books, and we're excited to take you on a quick journey through some of the highlights. Participants from various public sector organizations came together to learn how evidence-based inputs from businesses can improve the design and delivery of frontline government services in the new normal. Throughout the symposium, speakers shared their experiences and insights in using client-based service standards for improving service design and delivery. The participants actively engaged in the discussions and learn how to identify ways to improve frontline government service delivery through study results. The symposium closed with some inspiring remarks from the organizers and a big thank you to all who participated. The symposium was a success as it increased awareness on evidence-based service quality standards for improving frontline government services. The participants left with valuable insights and best practices to apply in their respective organizations. Thank you for joining us in this journey to promote service quality standards and deliver excellent service to our clients. Together, let's continue to delight citizens and businesses through evidence-based service quality standards. We hope to see you at next year's event.
Welcome to the 5th Government Quality Management Programs or GQMP Service Quality Standards Symposium with the theme Translating Insights from Clients to Standardized Service Experience. Good morning, everyone. A heartfelt welcome to our esteemed guests and participants representing diverse sectors, including government agencies, private organizations, and academic institutions. Your presence today is truly appreciated, and we're thrilled to have such a diverse group committed to enhancing the quality of government services. I am Milagros Bungroa,
And I'm Edmond G. Legua, or Eds, and we will be
your Masters of Ceremonies.
Good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure to co-host with Miss Boong, and we are excited to have all of our participants here today for the symposium. Organized by the Development Academy of the Philippines, Productivity and Development Center, or DAP-PDC, leading in capability building for the GQMP. We have an exciting program prepared for you. To start, let's watch the invocation video and take a moment to respect our faith as we begin this symposium with a prayer.
Sikoy ko kami gimu langit. Sikoy ko kami gimu aldo woy bulan. Ikaw ang nagbuhat sa kabituunan. Ikaw ang nagbuhat sa kalibutan. Manama, mawantog ka. Warag po ko ilingkoy ko. O Diyos, kahibulungan ka. Busa ikaw lang ang simbahon ko.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فقال ربكم ادعوني أستجب لكم آمين يا رب العالمين الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين اللهم اجمع شامل المسلمين والكريستيان والأمة في مدينة دباو وسلم دائما مجتمعنا هذا بالسلم والأمن والتقدم في بلدنا هذا آمين يا رب العالمين ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصلى الله على خير خلقه سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين يا رب العالمين
In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you today to praise and worship you and give you thanks for all the things you continue to provide for ourselves and our families. Father, we humbly ask for forgiveness for all the times we have offended you, when we forget to acknowledge your presence in the image of our brothers and sisters, and for moments we fail to be good stewards of the blessings you have given us. Continue to guide and protect each one of us, Lord, that we may always walk in the light of your everlasting love and mercy. Grant us, Father, with your comfort in times of distress and with your strength in times of weakness. Bestow upon us your unending grace and healing, that we may in turn become instruments of gentleness and compassion to others. We ask all this in the name of your Son, our Lord Jesus Christ, with the prayer and the intercession of our Blessed Mother. Amen.
Manama, mawantog ka. Warag po ko iling ko'y ko. O Diyos, kahibulungan ka. Busa ikaw lang ang simbahon ko. Busa ikaw lang ang alagaran ko.
Thank you for that inspiring invocation. Now, before we proceed with the program, we would like to remind everyone of the house rules to ensure that the symposium runs smoothly. We kindly remind everyone that attendance is being tracked during the entire session. Please ensure you've logged in through the attendance Google form, as this will be a prerequisite for receiving the e-certificate of attendance. Kindly use the same email address you registered with, as using a different email address will disqualify you from receiving a certificate. We will have a designated question and answer segment later. Feel free to ask questions, share insights, and relevant experiences using the chat box while the presentation is ongoing. Keep an eye on the chat box for announcements from the DAP administrators.
For documentation purposes, the symposium will be recorded. Your presence in the session indicates your consent for DAP to use the recording solely for these purposes. Also, there will be a scheduled break at the specified time in the program. Today's symposium features an exciting lineup that brings together government officials, service providers, and experts to showcase ongoing government initiatives. These highlight the government's persistent efforts to improve performance and service delivery. One notable initiative is the expansion of comprehensive national assessments through the implementation of the whole of the government citizen and business satisfaction surveys facilitated by the GQMP. Now, let us warmly welcome our opening and keynote speaker, the Secretary of the Department of Budget and Management, or DBM, and Chair of the Government Quality Management Committee, or GQMC. To introduce her, we have the Director of the DAP, PDC Advocacy and Institutional Development Office, Ms. Evangeline M. Macariola, to do the honors.
It's a privilege and honor to welcome an exceptional government official today who will share her insights into the essence of service quality standards. Joining us is the Secretary of the Department of Budget and Management and the Chairperson of the Government Quality Management Committee, Secretary Amena F. Pangandaman. As the Secretary of the Department of Budget and Management, she offers diversity and fresh perspective to an otherwise male-dominated team of economic technocrats. A Maranao with roots in the South, Pangandaman always aims to give Mindanao a voice in her capacity as a public servant. Having served in the legislative, executive, and central bank, she has a deep understanding of the Philippine bureaucracy, especially the economic sector. Pangandaman is not new to the budget process. She was Undersecretary of the DBM during the Duterte administration, acting as a functional group head of the Office of the Secretary. She pushed for crucial budget reforms such as the Green 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 program. As DBM chief, Pangandaman vows to pursue prudent management of the government's fiscal resources, the modernization of the budget system, incorporation of sustainability and green principles in government spending, and the promotion of inclusive and sustainable economic growth. She has a degree in economics from the Far Eastern University and a diploma and master's degree in development economics from the University of the Philippines. She was pursuing her executive master of public administration from the London School of Economics, but is currently on leave to serve the DBM. Prior to her appointment as a budget chief, Pangandaman served as assistant governor, concurrent head of strategic communication and advocacy, and executive offices coordinator at Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, championing financial inclusion and digital transformation. Would you please join me in welcoming Secretary Amena F. Pangandaman?
Good morning to all my fellow government officials and employees joining today's 5th Government Quality Management Program Symposium. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First, I would like to thank the Development Academy of the Philippines, headed by President and CEO Attorney Engelbert Caronan Jr., for once again inviting me to deliver a keynote message at this event anchored on the Government Quality Management Program, or the GQMP. As you know, GQMP is a national government program that promotes and enhances quality improvement in the public sector. One of its components features institutionalizing the service quality standards, assuring consistency in the quality of public services. Designed to steer the bureaucracy towards more citizen-centric service delivery, the program puts citizens at the heart of public institutions while instilling a quality culture. Tulad po ng sinasabi ko sa katatapos lamang na 2023 Public Sector Quality and Productivity Improvement Forum, kung sa private sector po ay meron tayong tinatawag na customer service, tayo rin po sa gobyerno ay may pinagsisilbihan. At yan ay ang ating mga kababayan. After all, the government exists for and because of the people. This means that as public servants, our fellow citizens are our clients. While we are already committed to delivering standardized and high-quality services to the citizens, which is why we are gathered here today, allow me to nevertheless highlight how we can achieve this, especially by listening. Let's take a look at your theme, translating insights from clients to standardized service experience. As the theme suggests, understanding the client's context is vital in driving the standardization of their service experiences. This is a very good continuation of last year's theme towards quality service for all citizens because it espouses the call to actively listen to your clients or our constituents to be able to provide them with quality services that truly respond to their needs. Likewise, obtaining and utilizing research-based and citizen-centric information in developing and delivering government services. One of the topics to be discussed today will not be possible without actively listening to the citizens. Surely, services crafted through active citizen engagement will be more accepted and supported by the people. Indeed, effective and responsive public services created and implemented by listening to the voices of the people should be standardized, enhanced, improved, and even institutionalized. A very notable example of this is the GQMP, which capacitated 990 key officers and staff of public sector organizations in 2022 alone, provided technical assistance to 111 agencies as of December 2022, and certified 200 agencies under the ISO 9001-2015 Standard Quality Management System as of April 2023. At the Department of Budget and Management, we also make sure to actively listen to our kababayans. And so, we are also working hard to contribute to the improved productivity and public service delivery of the bureaucracy through the fiscal year 2024 national budget, as well as through structural reforms such as the proposed amendments to the Government Procurement Reform Act, the continuation of the initiatives of the Philippine Open Government Partnership, and the DBM's Digital Transformation Roadmap. As such, I call on each of you to listen and learn from today's discussions. Most of all, learn to listen to our fellow Filipinos dahil ang pagpapabuti ng ating mga programa, sistema, gobyerno, bansa at maski na ng ating mga sarili ay nagsisimula sa pakikinig. At sa ating pakikinig, matutugunan natin ang tunay na mga pangangailangan ng ating mga kababayan tungo sa bagong Pilipinas. Thank you very much. Wabillahi taufiq walidaya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Secretary Pangandaman. That was a great keynote message. She provided us with valuable insights that will guide us in our discussions today. Again, let us give her a virtual round of applause.
Before we continue with our program, we invite everyone for a brief photo opportunity. We encourage everyone to switch on their cameras and prepare for a quick snapshot. All right, let's see your beautiful faces sa atin pong mga participants sa Zoom. All right, we have 18 panels to capture with, so please bear with us and hold your brightest smile in front of your camera. Okay, to our Zoom ushers, are you ready? All right, let's start. Sige po. In 3, 2, and 1. All right, hold your smile. Moving on to the next panel. 3, 2, and 1. All right, we are on our 7th panel. 3, 2, and 1. All right, hold on to your smiles. Show us your sweetest smiles. All right, we are on our 12th panel. All right, we still have 4 more panels to go. 3, 2, and 1. Hold on to your smiles, everyone. All right, down to our last 2 panels. 3, 2, and 1. And on to our last panel. All right, thank you so much, everyone.
Now, let us dive deeper into the details of the symposium. Get ready to immerse yourselves in an illuminating discussion on key results and findings from the Whole of Government 2023 Business Satisfaction Survey on Frontline Government Service. Our first presentation today delves into a critical aspect of the Government Quality Management Program, translating invaluable insights from clients into the bedrock of service quality standards. This topic focuses on the results of the 2023 Business Satisfaction Survey and its pivotal role in shaping and refining service quality within our government institutions. Please welcome our distinguished speaker, Director Monica D. Saliendres, as she shares the intricate process of transforming client perspectives into robust service quality standards.
Ms. Aliandres is a fellow at the DAP. She is currently the director of the DAP PDC's Productivity Development Research Office, or PDRO. Her work experience includes program management, monitoring and evaluation, application of quality and productivity systems throughout the agro industry value chain, and benchmarking, among others. She conducted research work for agriculture sector in the Philippines, India, Taiwan, Thailand, and Vietnam. She also serves as faculty advisor and program representative for the Public Management Development Program, or PMDP, Scholars of the DAP, and has served as the Philippine Quality Award, or PQA assessor, for 3 cycles for both the public and private sectors. She has more than 25 years of experience with the public sector and holds a master's in public administration, major in public policy and program administration from the University of the Philippines, where she also earned her bachelor's degree in public administration. Everyone, let's give Director Monica D. Saliendres a virtual round of applause.
Thank you for that kind introduction. I hope you can hear me.
Yes,
All
ma'am, we
right.
can hear you
Okay,
po.
thank you. So good morning, everyone, to our participant on Zoom and in YouTube Live. We are very grateful for your attendance, and we do hope that you will find this presentation informative and inspiring as well. I'm here to present the key results and findings from the 2023 Whole of Government Business Satisfaction Survey on Frontline Government Services. Today's event is actually the 5th of the series of symposium that started way back in 2018. And we would like to know how many of you have attended the GQMP SQS symposium in the past. So please kindly go to the slido.com or scan the QR code on your screen and answer the question. Is this your first time to attend a GQMP SQS symposium? So I will know if I'm gonna go faster or slower in my presentation. So please, so yes, if this is your first time, no. If I have attended before, maybe not the entire 5th series, but you may not remember that well too. So let's see. Wow. So it's 95% already attended this symposium. So that's good. That's quite good. All right. So For my presentation, sige, so let's just wait. All right. So I know that most of you now have attended this symposium, so that's good. So I will proceed now with the outline of my presentation. So this presentation is divided into 5 parts. So the first one is an overview of the project and the SQS journey, and then it will be followed by little technical details of the 2023 business satisfaction survey. And then the third part, I will highlight the result of the 2023 BizSat. And the last part, the last 2 parts, I will talk about the priorities for improving delivery of government services. And the last one is the ways forward, or the next step to standardize frontline government service experience. Now, for the overview of the project, yeah, so next slide, please. So here, next slide. All right, so the SQS project is actually being implemented by the Development Academy of the Philippines under the productive and under the Government Quality Management Program since 2018. It's the component is particularly centered on institutionalizing service quality standards in frontline government services. So I'd like to provide you the brief background of the Government Quality Management Program. It's a national government-funded program that promotes quality improvement in the public sector. And its main goal is to effect improvement in the public sector performance by ensuring the consistency of products and services through quality processes that can be achieved through the effective implementation of a quality management system. And the program priority is to improve the frontline services of the government and to ensure that Filipino citizens will greatly benefit from the process and system improvement initiative. So the service quality standard project is particularly highlighted in the quality measurement and standardization component. So specifically, the objectives of the projects are to measure and determine the level of satisfaction of citizens and businesses. And we do it alternately, no? First the citizen, and then following year, the businesses, and then back to citizen. From the study, we developed the service quality standards coming from the drivers of satisfaction. And then we also identify priority or focus areas where we can channel our improvement efforts. So we just don't measure satisfaction. And lastly, we advocate for the adoption of evidence-based SQS and service quality measurement tool towards service excellence. So the program has various value proposition, but I'd like to focus on the following, actually all of them. The SQS project would like to see service managers or service staff that are professional, engaged, and competent, and able to innovate and are future ready. We want quality of service that are measurable, evidence-based, and at the same time, responsive and harmonized across all levels of government. So national, local governments. So making government service efficient at the end of the day, and making them effective and citizen-centered. And all this could happen if our transacting public is engaged, empowered, and informed. So, as the title suggests, how do we translate insight from clients to standardized experience? So, this is a long journey. So, I believe in 2019, we started introducing the service quality standards journey, and just want to know, no? Kasi 95% already attended this training, or this seminar. So which comes first? Please type in your answer in the chat box. Is it prioritization, implementation, measurement, or planning? In the journey, which comes first? Who's typing in now in your chat box? Let me see. Planning, most of you. There's measurement. There's planning. All right. Sige po. Sige, I've been seeing that most of you are answering planning. But let me share that in this SQS journey, it starts with measurement, then followed by prioritization, followed by planning and implementation. Okay, so why? Why do we start with measurement rather than planning? It's actually when you measure, you plan how you will measure, no? But would like to start with measurement because when you want to improve, sabi nga ni Peter Drucker, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. So we start with measurement. And in measurement, we'd like to determine where we are now in terms of perception of the transacting public we serve, no? And ano ba yung experience ng transacting public natin? Ano yung perception niya sa services that we offer? To know this, we conducted a satisfaction survey, but the study is more than satisfaction survey, no? It's not your usual satisfaction survey. The study also delved on clients' expectation with the goal of coming up with service quality standards. So for the part 2 of the presentation, just like to share some technical details of the study before we start with the highlights. So, okay, so that's just the technical details. So the 2023 BizSat covered highly urbanized cities nationwide, no? We have for Luzon, which we covered NCR and Calamba City, having the highest registered businesses, no? And in the Visayas and Mindanao, we covered Cebu and Davao cities, respectively. Okay, so the data gathering was conducted between the period of October 4 to 27 and was able to gather 2,568 responses of business owners and representatives. That's on site, and they have completed their transaction in 2023. It's an intercept interview using a computer-aided personal interview or copy, and then the sampling is stratified probability using time-based interval selection. So every 5 minutes, they select their respondent. So for the agency or offices covered, these are mostly the common agency that businesses have to deal with, no? And these have the highest volume also. So for the first cluster, we have the economic and employment and licensing cluster. We have here the Bureau of Internal Revenue, the Department of Labor and Employment. And the second one is the Social and Welfare Services. We have here the Home Development Mutual Fund and Social Security System. Also in this cluster, PhilHealth is usually included here. However, because of the cyber incident that happened during that time, so the PhilHealth transaction was totally shut down muna, no? It's totally off. So for the business registration, we have the DTI and the SEC. And for the local government, we targeted the City Assessor Office, the City Treasurer Office, and the Business Permit Licensing Office. They are the usual offices that our businesses go to, no? And then, of course, it's not just a smooth sailing. It's always, there's some challenges, difficulties that we encounter every time we do the study. But fortunately, we have very able and willing partners who help us all throughout the data gathering period. So some of the challenges that we encountered, first, we conducted the survey during a non-peak season for the businesses. But since we need to finish this and we have to conduct the survey anyway, and then ideally, for businesses, it should be at the beginning of the year or at the end of the year. We also conducted the survey in person while in the middle of the transition of NGA and LGUs towards digitalization as part of the President 10-point socio-economic agenda. And because of that, we have institutions that have minimal to zero on-site transaction. And if the institution are not fully digitized, they have a varying degrees of automation. That means the transaction are combined with face-to-face service delivery, and at the same time, they're using database that are online. Which, if this information management system are offline or having a problem, then it also affected the on-site transaction. So there's no completed transaction, unfortunately. So, okay. So with that, those are the challenges. But despite that, we were able to still collect a statistically acceptable number of responses. So, tuloy lang po. And some of the highlights of the 2023 BizSat's key results. So we start first with the profile, no? So we have about 61.38% female respondent and 38.62 male respondent. And then for the position in business, most of our respondents came from
Excuse me, Ma'am Nika. Please feel free to unmute po, ma'am.
all right, sorry. Sorry for that. I'm unmuted myself. Okay. So for the position in businesses, I think I mentioned this. I hope you heard me, that most of them are liaison officer, owner, founder, and bookkeeper. Okay. So for the company size, okay, majority belongs to the micro enterprises. Okay. And then for the industry, 60% of them belongs to the others group, no? So these are the various sectors like the agriculture, mining, electricity, water supply, social work, arts and entertainment, etc. And then foods and services, no? And the most common reason for their transaction is at 37.17%, and they are applying for new permit or license or certificate or renewal of the said document, followed by the periodic payment of taxes or other fees that they need to pay for to the government, no? So we go now to the actual service experience, no? It is interesting to note that the actual in-person transaction is about 63% of them visited first the office to inquire about the requirements before actually going to the transaction process, no? Since some inquired through online and a very small percentage who inquired over the phone, and only about 20.48% who right away transacted, meaning they have the complete documents already and transacted immediately. Now, for the 2023 satisfaction rating, we got 93.50%. It is a combination of very satisfied and satisfied ratings. So for the Luzon, we have the same percentage for Mindanao, and we have an almost perfect score of 97% for Mindanao, no? And for Visayas, we have 89.43. Okay, and if we would like to look back, so the next slide will show you the satisfaction ratings through the years. So from 2019, for the business transaction, satisfaction rating is actually improving through the years. Note that even during the pandemic, we also improved, although minimal, but still we improve. And this year it's a substantial improvement. This could be a good indication that our efforts in ease of doing business in the country might be gaining grounds. And let's see if we can sustain this as our transacting public becomes more aware and more demanding. So, and if we look by cluster, the one that we got the highest score is the business registration with 95.78%, while those who transacted with the local government got 91.77. So there are lots of okay, and if we try to see, aside from the satisfaction scores, the study also looked into the drivers of satisfaction. We have two levels of analysis. One is the top of mind, top of mind responses to question like, what is your reason for being satisfied or being dissatisfied? And the other one is getting it through key drivers analysis and through regression formula. So the top reason for being satisfied, this is the open-ended question and right away direct question, is actually fast transaction. It's followed by the demeanor of the frontline staff being approachable, accommodating, and knowledgeable. So that's the top. For them, that's the top reason for satisfaction. What about the top reason for dissatisfaction? Well, what that goes to say that the top reason for being dissatisfied is also slow transaction. But what is interesting is the second top reason, which is being asked to submit duplicate document or inconsistent requirement, which is actually in the same league with the unclear process and unorganized system. So they can tolerate an accommodating staff, but don't make them submit twice or thrice the document. That will make them dissatisfied. Okay, so now for the derived key drivers of satisfaction. This is to the key driver analysis. On your screen are attributes that drive the satisfaction of businesses, no? And those shaded in gold or in yellow are actually attributes that appeared in 2019 and in 2021 and now in 2023. So we have communication. It's always there. It's having a complete, accurate information online and clear transaction process. And the outcome is they always want to get what is needed or applied for. Complaints handling is also there. Speed to resolve a complaint. Being responsive, overall time to complete transaction, that's related to the past transaction. And there's two service attributes for access and facilities. No, one is orderly queuing system, and the other one is reachable and responsive agency hotline. So please answer your phones. And then for integrity, it should be always fair treatment, walang palakasan. And for cost, it's ease of payment. Okay, so that's the key drivers for 2023, and yun po yung nag-appear din noong 2019 and 2021. On your screen right now is actually the key drivers of business satisfaction in 2019 and 2021. The recurring drivers can be seen as actually as areas where you can reinforce and improve. And the one in the boxes are again recurring drivers. Okay, so we now go to the second stage of the SQS journey, having measured the perception of our clients. Now, how do we prioritize? So, being citizen-centric, I'd like to reiterate, is knowing what your clients is actually equals to knowing what your clients wants or needs, and you should know their preferences. So these are the business preferences of our respondents. So based from this chart, face-to-face still remains as the most preferred transaction method by businesses at 82.90 overall, no? Slightly lower in Visayas at 79%. But note that these are coming from the people who transacted face-to-face. So we need to find out if those who transacted online, because they have no choice already because we shifted to online transaction, if they really prefer transacting online. This will be actually a subject of the next study. So it's one of the findings that we noted. Okay, in terms of preferred mode of submission, again, the overall at 61%, they like to submit printed forms, but using electronic forms is also gaining ground at about 28%. And in NCR, acceptability of submitting online form is much higher, almost 33%. So for payment preference, all right, the overall preference is still at the cashier office. We also have about 24 to 28% across Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao who also preferred online payment platforms. So it's still there's a room, no? And then for the preferred way to file a complaint, please do not remove your suggestion box. If they have a complaint, they will file it through that channel because as you can see in our slide. Okay, this particular question on the preferred way of consultation relate to the need for agency to conduct consultation when they are, for example, introducing new regulation or changes in the current requirements. The preference is actually more on personal approach, one-on-one interview, and the other one is public survey or through social media. So please take note of that when you would like to consult your clients. So for service threshold, so we also gather the minimum to the maximum, no, service threshold. So this will be a good reference if you are doing streamlining initiative. Okay, so overall, our businesses would like to complete their online transaction in 12 minutes. The longest for them is actually 25 minutes. And the actual experience is in between the shortest and the longest, which is about 18.54 minutes. So lots of room for improvement. If it's a phone transaction, shortest expectation is about 9 minutes. It is already long if it reaches 19 minutes. Surprisingly, actual is shorter than their expectations. So that's a good job. Okay. For the days to complete face-to-face transaction, the shortest is about 1.23 days or more than 1 day. The longest will be almost a week, and the actual experience is about 3 days. And for the transaction, that usually just takes a day to transact, the actual experience is about 1.26 hours. So please remember those thresholds. For the planning now, this is the third part of the journey. What targets and improvement plan you would like to focus on? Okay, so would you like to beat the threshold? Would you like to focus on other areas where you are having a low satisfaction score? So that's the intention of this next presentation. So when we identify priorities, you can take a look at the performance versus the level of importance that our transacting public place for the service attributes that you asked. No, so here the study is actually using what we call the importance performance matrix, or where we have 4 quadrants. No, quadrant 1 is where the attributes you would like to protect having the high impact and high performance, and quadrant 2 These are the attributes here are those that you want to improve because they are high impact but low performance. And for quadrant 3 and quadrant 4, these are service attributes you need to still keep in mind and keep. Okay, so for the 2023 BizSat, there's a number of attributes you need to protect. Medyo marami po sila, no? And just a few critical ones that you need to improve. That's actually reflective of the score that we got. It's 93, so it's high. So for the quadrant 2, we have the to have a complete and accurate information and reachable and responsive agency hotlines. Those are the things that we need to those are the critical gaps. Those are the things that we need to improve. And if you ask them, top of mind suggestion to improve delivery of government services, we have system, improvement in system, technology, and facilities upgrade, followed by, please note, punctuality of frontline staff. Okay, so we need to do that now. So before I proceed to the second part of the presentation, what are your thoughts on the 2023 BizSat results? These are top of mind. Ano po ba yung masasabi natin sa BizSat 2023 result? Maganda po ba? Ayos po ba? Is it useful? So please go to scan the QR code, go to slido.com. Okay, I want to know your thoughts. Average, wow, 93 point something is still average, so that's good. Useful, very useful. I think it is useful. So please use this as your benchmark, as your way of determining. Maybe this is something that you can consider. Those critical gaps, you can consider that as an opportunity for improvement. Although this is not analyzing per agency, it's entire it's a nationwide general satisfaction score. Okay, so useful. Many of you are saying that it's useful. So thank you very much. So the last stage of the SQS journey is the implementation part, or this is where you will implement what you targeted to improve. And I would just like to share this highlight of the 2023 BizSat survey findings. The gaps remain in the overall transaction time, and speed in resolving complaints and completeness of information. So we can minimize this. We can address this gap by our streamlining initiative, and by taking, for example, by taking out unnecessary steps, setting up an escalation operation procedure for those complaints, and having more accessible information and paraphernalia in both offline and online platforms. So some suggestion to ponder upon. So maintain an accurate and updated files and records. You need to establish effective complaint management system. We also have a data on the threshold for complaint addressing complaint. We just didn't present that because of the time constraints. So you can also enhance client service communication and adapt to the changing needs of the clients. So, okay, for the last part of this presentation, the ways forward to standardize frontline government service experience. Why do we need to standardize? After this all measurement, prioritization, planning, and even improvement, why do we need to standardize? We have 4 reasons. It helps establish consistent quality across different frontline government services across all levels. Ensure that clients receive the same level of service, no, regardless of their location or the public sector or the or agency that they transact with, no? And it creates a sense of fairness and equity in service delivery amongst clients or among our transacting public. And most importantly, it builds clients' trust and confidence in the public sector organization. So with that, we're planning to disseminate an SQS handbook that contains the most common key drivers of satisfaction from our study covering 2018 to 2023 na. And this will contain the details of what we mean when we say a clear transaction process, fast transaction, clean facilities. So these are the common key drivers, and there will be an operational definition for that. And take note that these are coming from our citizen. Okay, so it's evidence-based. And also, we will be expanding the study to cover those who transact using online, and that will be next year. This is to adapt to the changing landscape of digitization of services, and we do hope that our partners through the years will still support us through and through, and because without them, this study would not be possible at all. And with that, I would like to leave you with a quote from the father of continuous improvement, Masaaki Imai, with the quote, "Where there is no standard, there can be no improvement. For these reasons, standards are the basis for both maintenance and improvement." With that, marami pong salamat para sa sapat at mahusay na serbisyo. Thank you, and God bless you all. I hope you've heard me. All right. Thank you.
We extend our deepest gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Director Monica D. Saliendres, for an enlightening presentation that unveiled the critical aspects between client insights and the cornerstone of service quality standards within the Government Quality Management Program. Again, let us give her a virtual round of applause.
It seems everyone was captivated by Director Saliendra's presentation. Let's now assess what we have learned. Scan the QR code or click the link in the chat box to provide your response. All right, so let's test your memory from the presentation. Please enter your nickname or participate in our QR code and answer the question. Right? You may also use your name to participate on our question and answer. So the question, what constitutes the first phase of the service quality standards or SQS journey? Again, the question, what constitutes the first phase of the service quality standards or SQS journey? Is it prioritization or implementation or measurement, or how about planning? Right? So let's see your answers. Answers coming in sa ating chat boxes. Measurement. We have a lot of answers coming in. Measurement. It appears that many of us selected measurement. All right. There are a lot of responses coming in from our active participants. And the correct answer is, of course, measurement. Congratulations and thank you for your active participation and attentive listening. We would like to remind everyone that you can ask your questions through the chat box. Please feel free to type in your questions and we will read them aloud during the Q&A portion. Before we continue with the rest of the presentation, we would like to give you a 5-minute break to stretch your legs, grab a cup of coffee, or simply take a break. Thank you and enjoy your quick break.
In pursuit of performance excellence, tangible results speak louder than words. Imagine experiencing government services that are not just good, but exceptional.
Upon checking po sa library portal, there are several research that I can truly use po in my study.
They're very helpful. If you want some assistance, they'll help you readily. Staff are very kind.
So, very fast yung service and then mababait din yung mga kausap ko dito. In less than 30 minutes, okay na ako.
Here's the exciting part. That vision is now turning into a reality. Recent satisfaction surveys portray a vivid picture of progress, a statement to the positive impact of improvement initiatives in the public sector. Reforms are being felt not only by the citizens, but also by the business community. A contributory factor to achieving these improvements is a widespread adoption of ISO 9001 Quality Management System significantly. By virtue of Executive Order Number 605, the Government Quality Management Program, or the GQMP, was established, institutionalizing the structure, mechanisms, and standards to implement the program. The GQMP aligns with Ambisyon Natin 2040, the country's long-term vision of a matatag, maginhawa, and panatag na buhay, to boost public service performance through the adoption of ISO 9001 quality management systems in government agencies. GQMP helps improve and strengthen quality and productivity across the government sector. It focuses on three key components: development of a government quality management system standards, implementation of advocacy and capability building, and certification of agencies' organizational management system to government quality management system standard. Since 2008, numerous beneficiary agencies have been assisted by the Development Academy of the Philippines as lead in the advocacy and capability building component of the GQMP.
We would like to express our gratitude to DAP for continuously providing training and education to partner agencies, particularly LGUs. Mandaluyong is a manifestation of this, the quality training that was given to us. It became the basis of quality service. It enhanced the services that is being given by the 39 offices.
The adoption of QMAS and the subsequent attainment of ISO 9001 certification has enabled government agencies to achieve their objectives by gaining a renewed understanding of their customers' requirements and operational processes. Going beyond QMS, the GQMP has taken significant leaps in its priorities by advancing quality improvement initiatives, equipping government agencies with systems improvement mechanisms, harmonizing the delivery of public services and promoting best practices, and effectively planning for and addressing risks and opportunities on the establishment, expansion, and harmonization of ISO 9001 QMS.
Very thankful ang National Library sa DAP dahil doon sa assistance na i-share niya sa amin ay nakatulong talaga. Before, meron na talaga kaming risk management procedure. But because of this, parang mas napadali yung pag-finalize namin ng risk management procedure ng National Library of the Philippines.
Grateful and thankful lalo na po sa mga staff po ng DAP Kasi talaga yung patience nila sa amin eh. Grabe. Tsaka yung learnings iba talaga. Kahit gaano kalalim ba yung words, parang kaya na namin siyang intindihin or mas madali na namin siyang maintindi.
GQMP stands at the forefront of revolutionizing government services, adopting a people-centric approach. It calls on the public sector to proactively listen to emerging citizen preferences, identify core drivers of citizen satisfaction, and develop and improve the design of systems and frontline services. The goal is to ensure enhanced and customized public service delivery reflected in the service quality standards. This is the essence of what the Government Quality Management Program brings. A commitment to a government that not only works better, but serves better. A government that stands shoulder to shoulder with the best in the world, leading the way with quality management to better serve the citizens. Join the hashtag QMSGovPH and be part of the QMS practitioners in government. For more information on the GQMP, reach us through website, Facebook, and email.
Welcome back, everyone. We hope you had a refreshing break and are now prepared to re-engage in the symposium.
We hope you are enjoying our symposium so far. We would like to remind our viewers that this is a virtual event and you can engage with us by commenting on our YouTube live stream or by using the chat function on Zoom. We encourage everyone to participate and ask questions during the Q&A portion later. And speaking of diving back in, our next presentation is set to give us more relevant information. But before that, allow me to ask you a question. Have you recently transacted with a government office? Curious lang po, kumusta naman po ang inyong naging experience? Kumusta po kaya, Miss Bung, ang mga naging experience ng ating mga participants transacting with a government office? Let me see reactions sa ating chat box sa Zoom and YouTube. Please type in your answer. Share us your insights, your thoughts, or experiences. And have you recently transacted with a government office? Ano po yung mga naging magandang experiences ninyo or nasatisfied po ba kayo and hopefully satisfied kayo sa government services na in-offer sa inyo?
Meron pa po, sir.
Alright, let me see responses. Responses coming in. Yes po. Medyo matagal po sabi sa chat box natin. Matagal ang pagkuha ng appointment online, almost 3 months. So patience. Kailangan natin ng patience. Ang daming requirements. We need really to comply with the requirements for us to have a better service, of course. People in the government are courteous, yes, and fast transactions and highly satisfied. Alright, what else? Always we transact with various government offices kahit na medyo mabilis yung ating chat box. Hindi ko siya makapture. Alright, sige. What else do we have in here? May ibang agency na mabilis while others mabagal. Long processing due to erratic internet connectivity. Ayan. So we need to really upgrade. Kahit siguro sa ang location naman sa Philippines, kailangan natin i-upgrade yung internet connectivity talaga natin. Yes. Depende sa transactions po. And when it comes to online email inquiry, medyo matagal po or matagal mag-reply. I agree with a survey that shows slow transactions. There are offices na nag-improve na because of ARTA. Yes, of course. And they're being ISO certified. People from PhilHealth, make sure we give what you asked for. Yes, that is very important. All right. Great, everyone. Thank you for giving us your responses or your answer. We have received several insights that will serve as take-off points for our next presentation. Right? To proceed, it is with great pleasure that we introduce our distinguished speaker who will enlighten us on Parañaque City government's approach to translating insights from clients to standardize service experience. Sino po ba ang mga taga-Parañaque sa ating mga participants ngayon? May I see raise of hands?
Yeah, show of
Thumbs
hands,
up?
please.
Reactions? Heart reactions sa ating mga participants, mga taga-Parañaque, so that we may acknowledge you. I can see reactions po, thumbs up sa ating mga participants. Medyo marami-rami rin yung ating mga participants from
Thank you for
Parañaque.
coming.
Yes po, thank you for joining us. All right, please join me in extending a warm welcome to our esteemed speaker, Attorney Voltaire de la Cruz, the City Administrator of the Parañaque City Government.
Attorney Voltaire C. de la Cruz is the current city administrator of the city government of Parañaque. He is a lawyer and a certified public accountant. He took up Bachelor of Science in Accountancy at the De La Salle University and graduated in 1992, and his Bachelor of Laws degree at the San Beda College of Law and graduated in 1998. He recently attended his Juris Doctor conferment. He was a former city administrator of the city government of Malabon for 9 years. He is a partner of Brillantes, Arcilia, Martinez, Jokno, and De La Cruz law offices. Let's give Attorney Voltaire de la Cruz a virtual round of applause.
A pleasant day to everyone, especially to the GQMP participants who are present here. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Every member of the national government agencies and local government units knows the importance of client satisfaction. It is the key driver for us to determine whether the services we are providing are either successful or need improvement. It is also a measure to identify if our delivery and performance are effective. This is why of utmost importance that we listen to our clients and gather their feedback to meet their needs. Next slide, please. As public servants, it is always expected of us to deliver high-quality service. And so, here in the city of Parañaque, under the leadership of Mayor Eric L. Olivares, we are committed to promoting a citizen-centric city by listening to the feedback of our clients and utilizing them as our guide to further enhance our performance and deliver quality services to the transacting public. We're very much aware that most of our clients come from different parts of Metro Manila and even across the country. Thus, the usual feedback we receive is to make our services more accessible and convenient. So these are the two important factors to customer satisfaction. Next slide, please. To achieve this, we have set and implemented the different interventions to deliver smooth and efficient transactions with our clients. A case in point is the city government's Express Linked Office or Service Center, an off-site government center where frontline government services are accessible and available in one convenient location, which is located at the Ayala Malls, Manila Bay. Next slide, please. Through our Business Permits and Licensing Office, this one-stop shop offers issuance of business permits and licenses, senior citizens ID and booklet, even VAC-Cert, PH. Our clients can also apply for police clearance, building permits, mayor's permit to work, health certificates, and DTI business name, as well as birth certificates, marriage certificates, and death certificates. They can also pay their traffic-related violations, community tax certificates, and real property taxes. Next slide, please. Our client can also access the services through our electronic business one-stop shop, or eBOS. In fact, we take pride in our implementation of eBOS because the city government of Parañaque recently received a commendation from the Anti-Red Tape Authority for being one of the pioneers in promoting ease of doing business in the country by streamlining and integrating processes to hasten and simplify all transactions and processes of our frontline services. Next slide, please. Next slide. Moreover, we continue to adopt the latest technology advancements to provide seamless customer service. We integrated QRPH, our online payment services on business taxes, real property taxes, and other miscellaneous fees. Next slide. Further, our clients can now settle their violations and fines online. This is part of our initiative in coordination with our Traffic and Parking Management Office and the Metropolitan Development Authority in line with the implementation of the Unified Single Ticketing System, which aims to prioritize digitalization for a more convenient process of transactions in the city, in particular, and in the National Capital Region as a whole. By optimizing the benefits brought by the digital economy and adopting radical changes, we ensure seamless transactions that are geared towards an excellent customer experience, making the payment process easier while ensuring convenience and security. Our services do not only stop there. In fact, we also continue to provide programs and interventions focusing in different sectors, including education, health, livelihood, and socioeconomic aspects. Because here in Parañaque City, as Mayor Eric Olivares always says, dapat ang gobyerno ang bumababa at lumalapit sa taong bayan. And so we did. Next slide, please. One of the priorities highlighted in the city government of Parañaque's government trust is the sector of education. Our city mayor is an educator himself. In fact, most common insight we often receive is to augment the students' financial needs as their financial situation can affect their performance in their education as well as their productivity. Thus, in coordination with our local school board, our students in elementary and high school level, around 110,000 students are granted financial assistance from the city government. Each student receives a monthly allowance of 500 pesos, which is given quarterly. Further, our special education students and Parañaque Science High School students also receive 1,000 pesos monthly allowance. While we recognize that this financial assistance is a temporary solution, this has a lasting impact on our students because through this program, we are creating more equal opportunities for students from all types of backgrounds. This can also serve as a motivation for them to reach and complete their education. Next slide, please. On the other hand, access to quality healthcare services is also one of our utmost priorities. To further cater to the medical needs of our clients, we continue to strengthen our partnership with private companies to add more services to our city hospitals. We have 2 hospitals, Hospital ng Parañaque 1 in District 1 and Hospital ng Parañaque 2 in District 2. Currently, our OSPAR 1 is already open. It's dialysis, next slide please, to the public, as well as the intensive care unit or ICU, central sterilization room, neonatal ICU, and tertiary level clinical laboratory with blood station. Next slide, please. We are also building another hospital beside OSPAR 1, which is the Women and Children's Hospital. This is a facility that aims to focus on women and children's health by providing emergency, inpatient, and outpatient care. Next slide, please. Meanwhile, the same services can also be found in OSPAR 2, namely tertiary level, clinical laboratory, X-ray, and ultrasound services, licensed pharmacy, intensive care unit, neonatal ICU, hemodialysis unit, and biomolecular laboratory. Libre po lahat ito. Walang binabayaran po ang ating mga pasyente. Next slide, please. We recognize that not all our clients can visit our city hospitals and healthcare centers and health centers for several reasons. This is why through our city health office, we conduct medical missions across our 16 barangays to provide free health services to our clients. Next slide, please. By the way, our city mayor is also a registered nurse. Among the health services, they can avail the medical and dental consultation, flu vaccination, eye care, and free reading glasses, nutrition counseling, laboratory services, and family planning services. Apart from this caravan also includes the non-medical services, including legal consultation, registration of birth certificates, desk assistance from different agencies and departments of the local government unit, animal and welfare services, and anti-drug advocacy campaign, among others. Next slide, please. We, the national government agencies and local government units, play a huge and important role in enhancing opportunity for our clients, especially those who belong in the marginalized sector and at a disadvantaged and difficult situations. To achieve this endeavor, one of the ways we can do is generate jobs for them. Here in our city, our Public Employment Services Office continuously partners with different companies to provide employment opportunities for our constituents. Further, we regularly conduct job fairs, allowing our job seekers to meet and exchange information with their potential employers. We also offer employment opportunities to our senior citizens and persons with disabilities. Next slide, please. Further, one of the projects that we're very much proud of is Project ERIC, which stands for Exigent Response for Indigent Citizens. Through our Special Services Office, the Project ERIC is the first of its kind government service because it is through this we continue to deliver our programs at the grassroots level. Next slide, please. Among the services offered in this project is the Libreng Libing program. You know, in the city of Parañaque, we take care of our constituents from womb to tomb. Ganun po yung ginagawa namin dito, where our clients can avail free funeral services to select funeral homes. And also included in the project is the College Educational Financial Assistance Program, where qualified college students, next slide please, whether they're studying in public or private colleges and universities, can avail of themselves of 3,500 pesos per semester if their general average ranges from 81 to 86%, and 5,000 pesos per semester for students with a general average of 87% and above. Next slide, please. In coordination with our Parañaque Health Plan Office, we also offer free health enrollment, PhilHealth enrollment to our indigent students and senior citizens, persons in disability, with disabilities, and those who are diagnosed with chronic illnesses. Next slide, please. Lastly, we also work hand in hand with the City Social Welfare and Development Department to provide free legal assistance and to help our indigent clients to apply for the City Amelioration Program, where our clients in crisis situations can avail themselves of hospitalization assistance, medical assistance, and financial assistance. To further reach them, we set up hotline numbers for seamless communication and to quickly cater to their needs. As one of the most progressive cities in the Philippines, these are a few of our efforts to provide and deliver excellent public services to our clients. We will continue to further our commitment, enhance our performance, and deliver quality public service to meet the needs and satisfaction of our clients that will result in a more citizen-centric and progressive Parañaque City. Because after all, our constituents only deserve a world-class standard of public service. Next slide. Thank you.
Again, let us give Attorney Voltaire de la Cruz a virtual round of applause. Thank you, sir. Before we proceed with the program, may we remind everyone, our participants, to please mute your microphones to avoid distractions during the symposium. Thank you for your cooperation. So, as we approach the final segment of our symposium, we are honored to introduce our next speaker, who will shed light on translating insights from clients into service quality standards in Quezon City government. But before we delve into our next presentation, let's build on our earlier discussion. So now, it's my turn to ask a question to our participants. So I hope you will participate by chatting or typing in the chat box your answer. So for those who have engaged with a government office through online or digital channels, what specific expectations do you have regarding digital services? So let me repeat. For those who have engaged with a government office through online or digital channels, what specific expectations do you have regarding digital services? Okay. So,
let's see their answers, their responses sa ating chat boxes.
Yes, we have a lot of responses coming in. Thank you. Okay, so we have easier and fast online transactions, fast and efficient, user-friendly portal, accessible, and it's customer-friendly. Any more responses? Convenient, fast and smooth transactions, quick response. Yes, we couldn't agree more. It's right.
Yes, that's right, Miss.
Yeah, paperless transactions. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. Now, our next speaker will focus on the topic of digital transactions. Let's eagerly anticipate the valuable information he is about to impart. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Dr. Jose Edgardo A. Gomez Jr., Assistant Department Head, Quezon City Planning and Urban Revitalization Planning Officer. Dr. Jose Edgardo A. Gomez Jr., or JED, as his colleagues and friends call him, is a tenured professor of urban studies at the University of the Philippines School of Urban and Regional Planning. He is currently being seconded to the city government under Mayor Joy Belmonte, and among other functions, recently assumed the role of Assistant Department Head of the City Planning and Development Department. Dr. Gomez has a doctorate in public administration and a master's degree in urban and regional planning from the same university, the University of the Philippines, while he finished his undergraduate degree in legal management at the Ateneo de Manila University. He is internationally published and has worked as a consultant for the Asian Development Bank and other firms. He also spent some time in the banking industry. Currently, he is honing his administrative skills by leading urban revitalization and good governance initiatives as part of a dynamic team of executives of the Quezon City government. Everyone, let us give Dr. Jose Edgardo A. Gomez a virtual round of applause.
Thank you. Boong and Edmund, did I get that right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for this opportunity. I think I'd like to start by thanking the president of the AP, Engelbert Caronan, and the Director Saliendres and Director Eva as well, and the other officials of the AP who are present here today. I'm actually in the DAP building, and so this is me not being online, being physically present. All right, so I'm here today to talk about the Quezon City Standard Service Experience, about planning for the citizens and delivering good governance. And for this opportunity, of course, I would like to thank our mayor in Quezon City, Josefina Joy Belmonte, for allowing me to represent her for this engagement. Next slide, please. All right, Quezon City and its drive for service standardization. These are essential to good governance, and Quezon City's very much emphasizing good governance under the administration of Mayor Belmonte since 2019 and her able leadership. It has embarked on a massive effort to be a model for good governance and to listen to citizens and understand what they need. Now, what is driving us is actually her promise, her electoral promise, or her platform for governance, which is the 14-point agenda. And this is what directs all our efforts on the executive team as well as the legislative team. And I have this on the screen. You have the following, basically divided into human and social services, economic development, environment and climate change, infrastructure, and institutional development. And there are the 14 points under that. I think maybe the audience can just read this. Now, operationally, what has this translated into for Quezon City? There is a strong drive to computerize services and a strong drive to standardize the services. The impetus started during the COVID-19 pandemic, and it proved so effective that the momentum has continued. At the start, there really was no choice when we were in the middle of pandemic because we had to go online in order to continue to give services to the citizens. But that compulsion actually enabled us to experiment and to do more things, and that has allowed Quezon City to lead in many ways in putting good governance and expressing it through online platforms, and a lot of standardization takes place in the process. As more and more services are being placed online. So there's a picture of our mayor with her father, former Speaker Belmonte, and of course Quezon City. I hope most or all of the audience has been to Quezon City. If you have not, please visit. Next slide, please. All right, just an overview. Let me start with our involvement in the ISO journey, because this is one point where we have a lot of interaction with the AP. Quezon City first enlisted to undergo the ISO process back in 2015, and it gained its first certification, meaning the ISO 9001-2008 certification in the following year for the quality management system. And if you look at the illustration there, we began the journey in 2015, and we moved over to a second process in 2017. So there was a QMS expansion, and this was essentially what was taking place there was a recertification following the newer ISO 9001-2015 standard. And Quezon City again was able to comply and to obtain that in 2019. This was just before pandemic. And we're now actually on our third round, and we're undergoing the process of recertification. So there's a strong commitment from our leadership to continue to do this. And I think the partnership with the AP has been quite fruitful. So typically we have a three-part process. Of course, there are more intermediate steps here, but there's usually an internal committee inspection, which we actually go through religiously. Then number two, we have the external committee inspection by members of the AP, and we just finished that a few weeks ago in Quezon City. And we are now gearing up and preparing for the actual third-party certification inspection. And so we are embarking very much on the ISO journey, and learning from it. But more on that later. Next slide, please. Now, in terms of major programs and projects, apart from the ISO exercise, but where standardization and client satisfaction is very much a concern, I would like to highlight the following. We have the Quezon City identification card, an all-access card for citizens. Now, Q citizens have an identification card that serves as a convenient all-access pass to most essential goods and services, and follows international standards for security features and microchip technology. Cards also have some design modifications for persons with disabilities, senior citizens, and solo parents. We have there a picture for our mayor with the different variations of the QC ID, which actually we're very proud of because it's a very convenient device. And then we have the QCE services. This is another major program. And the essential highlight here is we have, it offers non-contact government services, meaning non-physical contact, accessible to all. There are over 25 common government services now online, and more are being planned and configured for internet-based interaction. The overall positive effect has been not only to offer standardized and predictable service to citizens, but also to significantly reduce opportunities for corruption. And the third major program or service that I would like to highlight is QC122. This is a helpline essentially for Quezon City, very responsive and for emergencies and other needs. In Quezon City, government comes to the rescue on time with helpline 122 manned 24/7. Although primarily designed to meet emergency calls, operators can also refer callers to the right department for non-emergency concerns or requests for information. So our QC122 also does that. Next slide, please. So let's take a look at those, a closer look at the digital initiatives. Again, talking about the three programs. In terms of how we set it up, for QCID, we have an internal IT department team, and this is assisted by external technology consultants. Our city administrator is actually also has a background in IT, so he did have the network of connections when we wanted to set this up. Same thing goes for QCE services. We have an internal IT department team. And again, this was strongly assisted, very frequently assisted by external technology consultants. And for QC122, this is largely internal IT and radio telecoms team. Now, what role did clients play in helping us set these up or in helping us improve these? For QCID, we had an initial national ID experience and learnings from abroad. We do have our executives who get to go abroad and benchmark. And we wanted this from the start to be very tamper resistant. So that's one thing we can boast about in terms of our QCID. There are several security features on the card. In terms of e-services, citizens' complaints on delays or petty graft helped shape which digital platform to use. There was a need to account, for example, for vaccinations during the pandemic, height of the pandemic, and this prompted us to set up databases. This was quite important because one of the challenges during pandemic was to make sure we had a very reliable master list of who was vaccinated, who was not vaccinated, and who was halfway vaccinated. And so we had to set that up very quickly. And in for QC122, clients or their relatives tend to respond soon after an emergency rescue, especially if this is successfully attended to. So if the feedback is very positive, then it helps, tells us that we're doing things right. And if it's not so positive, then it helps us to improve almost immediately. Well, why did we set these up? For QCID, we wanted to have a single city pass that was convenient for the citizens. For QCE services, initially this was a pandemic response, but now it's so much more. And for QC122, we needed a faster local response that could complement or supplement national government efforts. Now, that does not mean that we rest on our laurels and we actually want to do things better. So for QCID, we are hoping to tie this in with the national ID system. For QCE services, we're going to expand this more and more. And for QC122, we'd like to link it more to internal analysis, like mapping about where certain emergency events takes place or where there's a lot of crime and so on and so forth. Before I leave this slide, I'd like to say one more thing about e-services. One of the things that Quezon City can boast about is that in 2019, we actually didn't have anything online. And it's 2023 now, and we have over 25 services online. And if you're from Quezon City and you haven't tried this, I think you should try it. Go get yourselves a Quezon City ID and find out what you can access. Thank you. Next slide, please. All right. Now, about a little bit more about listening to client. The DAP asked us to say a little bit more about this and acting on feedback. There are a number of procedural ways by which the Quezon City government listens to its constituents and acts on their wishes and complaints. Number one, events routinely carry a feedback mechanism. When we have events in Quezon City and we have several events throughout the year, sometimes most times there's a feedback mechanism, a QR code, where participants can talk about their experience, and that gets processed, and we actually process and read through that and try to factor that into the next time we will have the event. Number two, concerned citizens may email the mayor's office directly or any of the other departments. Again, if you go to the Quezon City website and the e-services, you have a lot of email addresses there that you can email and we will actually respond to. And number three, there are regular bi-monthly executive committee meetings with the mayor. In fact, there's one today, but I have the excuse to be here at the AP, as well as with the city administrator. And our city administrator also sees us every 2 weeks and asks us what we have done already, and during which feedback and complaints are openly shared and discussed as a matter of routine. So we're very active about that. The above processes are then taken into consideration for on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis in fine-tuning how we provide goods and services to the citizens. In most cases, only small changes are called for. And this is actually what we want we want to do, because we'd rather correct things before they become big problems, and can be readily addressed in terms of more careful attention to service provision. Next slide, please. And on the other hand, there's also another way of listening to client or acting on feedback. We have structural ways by which the Quezon City government listens to its constituents. Number one, there are one-stop shops or frontline kiosks, physically, structurally, where citizens can transact and provide direct feedback on their service experience. So you can come to Quezon City Hall or any of the other government offices of Quezon City spread throughout the city, including a ground floor booth for communications to the mayor's office in the main compound. Feedback boxes and forms are available in most frontline offices, and we really do collect them and compile them. Number two, the mayor's or city administrator's office acts as a single conduit filter for all complaints, especially those coursed through the national government. So once in a while, or maybe not once in a while, we do get something from Malacanang. Rest assured that that comes through the mayor or the city administrator, and very quickly comes down to the departments that need to act on it. And we do need to act on it following the Anti-Red Tape Act and the Ease of Doing Business law. And there's constant follow-up on actions done by departments. There is also Quezon City's local helpline 122. And so structurally, that's all there. That's already in place and working. And number three, the Public Affairs and Information Services Department. This is our media arm and information department of the city. Regularly monitors social media for positive or negative posts. So, and broadcasts and it broadcasts means by which citizens can contact concerned departments. So this is actually done on a daily basis. We get feedback every day by email or by Viber, and when the meetings come, we get to talk about this in the executive team. And of course, a lot of it, I would like to imagine, or I would like to believe, is positive feedback, because the mayor gets congratulations every day on Viber, over 100 plus. So I think we're doing things right, some things right in Quezon City. And if they're not so positive, then we get a call from the mayor to act on them immediately. Important messages communicated through the above-mentioned structures are again taken into account regularly in order to fine-tune our city responses to the constituents. So this is all about our listening to clients and acting on their feedback in a timely and surgical manner. Next slide, please. Now, going back to the ISO, how has this helped us? In the start, or as identified in the quality management system, when I say in the start, I'm talking about the start of the mayor's term. There might have been an absence of policies earlier on, but now we're able to address that. We have, for example, in the planning department, there's the presence of mandated plans, and we do this through a regular planning process. So that's the department where I'm working. We do our mandated plans, and we actually go through the steps, the democratic process of convening all the committees and going through the longer planning processes. And that takes some time, but we still go through the steps. We don't necessarily shortcut it by just hiring consultants to do the work. We actually go through that in Quezon City. One of the earlier problems was unclear flow of information. Now we have a production of flow charts and other process documents, and this is also because of our engagement with the AP. So we try to codify and guide our actions. This is done for all departments. Number three, recurring transactional errors. We do trace and correct errors as much as possible, and this is where our IT team comes in. There's use of IT programming interventions to reduce errors. And number four, in terms of unclear procedures, well, we're doing away with that. We have manuals for core procedures that are put into place. And again, a lot of that is because of the influence or of the AP and going through the whole ISO process. And a lack of systems audit and review. To respond to that, we do have an internal audit and external audits as well. And our internal audit is actually very strict. So we are usually able to address that, because that also factors into the awards that we try to garner every year for Quezon City. Next slide, please. Now, in terms of our ISO experience, which is we're on our third cycle. Currently, we have 22 departments, offices, or hospitals of the Quezon City LGU that are part of the recertification exercise, and they're listed over here. Why 22 out of 70? Almost 70. It's because these are the frontline offices. So we're engaging with the standardization exercise for the frontline offices first, and then later on we might think about including some other offices that don't have frontline services. So these are the offices that are always under a little bit of pressure to do better in ISO, but I think it's working well. The benefits for the whole city government and for the whole city are being felt by the citizens. And as our mayor likes to boast, nowadays, our mayor, I remember Mayor Belmonte says that it's hard nowadays for any citizen in Quezon City to say that they have not felt good governance, that they have not felt the benefits of what Quezon City has to give them. Somehow, Quezon City is able to deliver some service or some benefit to every citizen without too much effort on the part of the citizen. It's actually the government that comes down and tries to reach out, as is being done, of course, by other cities like the one before me, Parañaque. Next slide, please. Now, one more point on the ISO exercise. It's a learning process for us. It is worth mentioning that embarking on the ISO exercise for the past decade has been a significant learning experience for the vast majority of our officials and employees. Learning takes place in the following ways. One, there's a heightened consciousness about the need to be explicit about procedures and records. This is not only for our customers, not only for the citizens and the aims of good government, but also because we need to provide necessary redundancies and stored knowledge in case of employee turnover and other benefits. So people are becoming more conscious about that, and hopefully in the future it will become second nature to our staff. Number two, participatory work leads to growth of networking between and among internal departments, as well as an opportunity to compare practices across groups. And this is very much a part of the ISO exercise because the committees that check each other, the committees that go from department to department are made of volunteers or staff from different departments, and that's how they learn from one another. And number three, gradual changes in workplace culture reflect a greater appreciation for order and cleanliness as a means to produce efficiently and to have pride in one's work. And I think that's very good overall in terms of work culture for Quezon City. Am I on my last slide? No, well, two more slides. One is, apart from the ISO exercise, you have medium to long-term reforms. One other thing we're doing for standardization is internal data reconciliation. We have renewed attention for updating data. And one place where this is manifested is the annual report. Our city administrator is very strict about this. So you can be sure that the annual report of Quezon City is very well done. It's very much data-driven. We have what you call a GIS dashboard now. So we're trying to put all our maps together, and that's going to be accessible to the citizens. Right now, it's accessible to internal departments. And another project we're coming up with in terms of standardization is the data dashboard. So very soon, there's going to be data available. Now it's internally available, but in the future, near future, hopefully, we will have some data, standardized data, accessible to all citizens. These projects have emphasized need for reliability, timely acquisition on a year-round basis, and better managerial decision-making. Next slide, please. Now, in terms of planning processes, this is my own field. Some standardization or a lot of standardization now goes into the planning process for the comprehensive land use plan, the comprehensive development plan, and other major mandated plans for local government. We have a local development and investment program, which also follows your corresponding budget templates. And we are preparing the socioeconomic or ecological profile to be consistent with the annual report as well as our data dashboard. And so we do, as I mentioned earlier, we do all of this and we try to go through the process of having our committees, our city development council active in doing all the planning. And that's another way where we're doing standardization and rationalization in the proper way, I think, in Quezon City. Next slide. Concluding thoughts. Well, on the whole, I think we can claim that it is well on the way to a very high standard of service delivery, as evidenced by the number of services that are streamlined and online equivalents that we have been providing to the citizens in the last 4 years. Our journey, however, in Quezon City is continuing, and we'd like to maintain the ranks, of course, of top ISO accredited LGUs. Looking ahead, one key aspect that will probably continue to play a larger role is the co-optation or the use of ICT in various processes in order to transparently deliver goods and services with greater speed and fewer possibilities for corruption, as well as less time and effort for public servants to do more for others. So on that note, I hope that you learned something about Quezon City. Please come and visit us. And if you are a resident or if you are someone working in Quezon City, you can avail of these services. Come get your QC ID and it will open a whole world of government services to you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Jose Edgardo A. Gomez Jr., for that enlightening and insightful presentation. Okay, so we also extend our sincerest gratitude to all our esteemed speakers for their insightful contribution to our symposium, deepening our understanding of this essential practice in refining service excellence. Thank you once again for your highly enriching insights. Please give them again a resounding virtual round of applause.
All right, again, may we remind our participants to please mute your microphones to avoid distractions during the symposium. Please raise your questions through our chat boxes, both in Zoom and on YouTube. We will give you a few minutes to reflect on the previous discussion and formulate your questions. In the meantime, we would like to present at this point the call for beneficiary agencies of the Government Quality Management Program. All right, welcome back everyone from the short break. We now come to the much awaited question and answer portion. Without further ado, let's start with a question. By the way, let me introduce our speakers with me. I have with here Director Monica Asaliendres and Dr. Edgardo Gomez. We also have with us, joining online or virtually, we have Attorney Voltaire de la Cruz. Good morning po ulit sa ating mga speakers. Great. Sige po. So let's start the question and answer. I think our participants have already provided questions sa ating mga presentations. So this is for all of our speakers to answer. Alright? So the first question po natin, what key features define quality service in the public sector? Again, our first question para sa ating mga speakers, what key features define quality service in the public sector? Siguro mag-umpisa tayo sa ating to answer the question. Sa mga kasama ko po dito, we have Director Monica D. Saliendre siguro. Sige, ma'am.
Thank you. I hope you can hear me. Well, there are many key features, no, as included in our study. We have like the timeliness, the fast transactions, slow transactions. So that's one of the key features. And the other one is, of course, responsiveness. And they're also looking for the outcome. If they were able to get what we promise for them to receive, no, the kind of service. And then we also have one of the key features that recurring key drivers of satisfaction are access and training to access and facilities. The other one is the ease of payment, and also the our resolution of complaints. So there are many key features that we can look into when we talk about quality service. Thank you.
All right, siguro let's hear naman from Dr. Jed Gomez.
Does this work?
Sige, sir.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay. I think that I'll just answer this in terms of one feature that I think cuts across all other features for quality service. I think when you deal with government, at least in the Philippines, ideally, you'd like to think that government takes care of you. After all, it's a government that you voted for, or majority of us voted for. So if you get that service and you feel that government has taken care of you and has responded to you adequately and used your time well, then that's quality service. I think that cuts across everything in terms of transparency, efficiency, ease of doing things. That's all of it. It's making sure, it's letting the citizen feel that government has taken care of me.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. How about insights from or answer from our presenter, Attorney Voltaire de la Cruz?
Well, as I have mentioned in my presentation, there are two important factors to determine quality of service, and that is accessibility and convenience. We should not just be saying that we have these services, but people won't be able to access, diba? So the most important thing for us here is for them to easily access our services, and that these services for them are very convenient to access. So yun po for our city in Parañaque.
Alright, I hope na nasagot ng ating mga presenters yung first question natin. Alright, so let's proceed to our second question. This is again para sa ating lahat ng mga presenters. We have the second question. What are the essential best practices for delivering quality service to the public? Again, what are the essential best practices for delivering quality service to the public? All right, siguro we start with Dr. Gomez.
Well, for this question, again, there are so many possible answers. For myself, I think in a Philippine context, the essential best practice would be would be reliability, because we're still struggling with that in some places, because if you ask for a government service, it's not always the same. You don't always get the same quality of service all the time. If you come today and then if you come next year on the same day, it might not always be the same. So if you want a best practice, I think if you make things reliable, that would be very good for the citizens. Second to that, I think another best practice is to respect the use of time. So if you can do it very efficiently, and the citizen doesn't have to spend his whole day or be absent from work, then that's another best practice. There's so many more, but I think I'll stick with those two.
All right, thank you, sir. How about Director Saliendres?
From the study, I think the citizen mentioned about responsiveness, and that is pertaining to timeliness, and the other one is about integrity. I think that's something that they also expect, fair treatment. I think that's something that we need to replicate. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And we proceed sa insights naman ng ating online speaker natin, Attorney De La Cruz.
Well, siguro on the part of the city of Parañaque, the best practice is not having to pay anything for basic services. So we provide education in Parañaque for free. We have our Parañaque City College, and we have a fully subsidized PUP in Parañaque City. And these two schools offer free college education for our constituents. Wala pong binabayaran ng ating mga estudyante. And then we offer also services for our indigent clients who dies or gets sick. Yun po yung ating mga services. We make it very convenient for them, especially in times of grieving, pagka namatayan ka. So we will take care of everything for you. So wala po kayong babayaran, and we think that is the best practice for us here, to provide the basic services for free to our constituents.
All right, maraming salamat po to all of our presenters for answering the question natin. And to our third question, medyo marami tayong questions from our active participants. Our third question, how can I enhance my role as a public servant through this symposium? All right, so parang very personal itong tanong na ito. Ano po? How can I enhance my role as a public servant through this symposium? Sige, let me start with the answer from Attorney De La Cruz.
Of course, the basic rule is to listen attentively. No? I was listening to the first two speakers, the two other speakers a while ago, and I got so many inputs and insights. No? And I thank you very much for those insights. There's always room for improvement, as they say. Yun po, I listen, and also we have this chat group among city administrators in Metro Manila that we always consult each other in times of conflicts or predicaments. We always discuss and settle things out among ourselves. So nagkokopyahan ho kami in the city, in NCR. So kung ano po ang best practice ni Quezon City, sinishare po ni CA Mike Alimurong, sinishare din po ni San Juan Attorney Dennis Pamintuan, ganun po yung aming kasamahan sa NCR. So that's why maybe NCR CAs are very solid, and we share information among ourselves.
Alright, thank you sir. Sa mga ganitong event po talaga, very important si active listening. while sharing yung mga presentations, best practices ng mga speakers or presenters natin para may makuha kayong mga learnings. Alright? So we have our next speaker naman, Director Monica Saliendres.
Yeah, actually you can use the service preference and then yung mga threshold to improve your services kasi that's what they identified as important to them. So yung mga shortest, longest time preference nila. So that's one way you can improve your your service delivery. And please note that they like approachable staff. They like punctual staff. So talagang yun yung tinitingnan pa rin. They would like to um, um, communicate to our to our frontliners. And hindi lang yan personal in person but also online and even in doing telephone calls. So I think you can use that as reference. Thank you.
Yes, napakagandang reference yon para sa atin. And last but not the least, we have Dr. Gomez.
Yeah, I'd like to focus on the phrase through this symposium. No, I think this initiative by DAP and partners is really a way for us to have a network, as mentioned earlier by the other speaker, and it's an opportunity for public servants like myself to be open-minded about things. The advantage of this kind of a venue or this kind of an event is that there are a lot of people who can exchange ideas and who may see things in different ways or have different ways to address a problem or or who might have good ideas, new ideas to share across the Philippines essentially. And I think that's one thing that public servants should learn. If you have an opportunity like this where you're in an environment that's different from your usual environment, then open your mind and learn as much as you can so you can bring it back home with you to your LGU or wherever else you're from.
All right. Thank you, sir. And thank you to our speakers for sharing your insights sa ating question number 3. So we move on to our question number 4. Again, this is intended or directed to all of our speakers. How do we elevate the public service quality in our agency? Right? Paano daw natin ma-elevate yung public service quality in our agency? Right? So let's start siguro, Director Monica D. Saliendres.
Well, siguro ano lang, I just want to highlight this. Listen to your client. Engage them in developing your service or even in improving your service. Engage them, listen to them, empower them to make changes. I think that's one key thing that we can do in enhancing our service. Thank you.
All right. How about Dr. Gomez?
Yeah, I'd like to give a more nuanced answer to this because our experience in Quezon City is we have a lot of pressure for public service quality, but that also comes from being very competitive. But I think that it's not just about doing things better or getting the prize for public service, but it's really about trying to figure out which kinds or quality of public service is applicable to the Filipino experience or to the Filipino client and to your city's own citizens. It has to be fine-tuned that way because nowadays we actually have a lot of sources for best practice and everybody wants to do best practice, but best practice can come from anywhere in the world and it doesn't necessarily apply as is to the Philippine setting or to the Quezon City setting or anything like that. You have to tweak it a little bit and fine tune it so that quality really improves and it becomes responsive to to your to your cultural context or to your social context.
All right. Thank you po, sir. And last but not the least, Attorney Voltaire.
Well, siguro, well, I agree with the first two speakers. And to add, we would like to really encourage more active participation of the private sector in terms of the delivery of basic services like our NGOs, civil society organizations, homeowners associations, our community organizations, so as so that we can continue to innovate services and provide more accessibility and convenience for them. Yun lang po. If I may just add, I agree with the first two speakers with their insights. And I would just like to add more active participation of the private sector for us to continue to innovate.
All right. Maraming salamat po to all of our speakers for answering our fourth question. And our next question is specifically directed para po kay Director Saliendres. Ma'am, the question po natin, is there a connection between the service quality standards and ARTA's requirements or standards?
Yeah. At the very start pa lang nung study, we tried to align to ARTA's requirements, no? Especially the 3720 requirements. So we asked our survey respondents about their threshold. Ano. So what's the minimum or their expectation in terms of completing their transaction with the government offices. So they actually identify shorter than 3, shorter than 1 day. It's for them it's 1 day or more than about 1.26, and the longest is about a week. So I think that's an opportunity for us to still aim for that, but still at the minimum, and as mandated by ARTA, it's 3720. So at least we're have a certain standard when it comes to our response time to our transacting public. So we are aligning with ARTA's requirement.
All right, thank you, ma'am. So our next question, ma'am, is directed pa rin po sa inyo. Parang paborito kayo ng ating mga participants for the question and answer. Our next question for you, ma'am, in the public service delivery value chain, where does measurement and standardization come in?
Okay, I think I have to get back to you on that, because in the public service value chain, I don't want to guess the the service, the public service value chain, no, kasi there was a training that the DAP conducted on that, and I think it's related then dun sa service quality journey, when there's measurement, planning, there's prioritization and implementation. I think that's a part of the value chain. I think for now that's my answer siguro. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. We can go back naman po to sharing the information, because we will be sharing a Google Drive folder where all the presentation materials will be available for everyone or for all the participants po natin. All right. To our next question, I think this is directed to two of our speakers, to Dr. Gomez and to Attorney Voltaire. The question, is it necessary for a government agency to invest in IT infrastructure to achieve efficiency in service delivery with customer satisfaction? If this is so, how about those agencies like LGUs also in GIDAS or geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas? All right, siguro start tayo kay Dr. Gomez, sir.
All right, that's a challenging question, but my answer to that is yes. Because it's basically the way the whole the whole system or the whole country is going. It's the march of technology, and so the local government unit, even if it is not not too financially or technologically well off, will slowly or gradually have to invest in IT infrastructure. Now, does that mean that you have to do it immediately or all at once? Well, no, not necessarily, especially if you're geographically isolated or disadvantaged. In that case, obviously the expectations will be much lower. And in order to accomplish this, there should be and there is help forthcoming from the national government. So some of that infrastructure will have to be not your own effort, but it will have to come from, for example, national government or provincial government putting up IT backbones and the infrastructure and all of that before you can do things on a smaller scale at the LGU level. But basically, what I'm saying is because that's the way the whole system is going. You have to think about it as early as now, and put it into your plans. In the meantime, of course, it doesn't mean that you can't have efficiency if you don't have IT. You can have efficiency. You can do it, the old-fashioned way. That's fine. But as your population grows, and as your investors start to inquire about locating in your LGU, you then transactions become more complicated, and then you think about, well, your personnel, no matter how good they are, will probably need some sort of IT tools to help them, or records to help them make things more transparent or more efficient.
All right, sige po. So let's have the insight or answer from Attorney De La Cruz.
Well, the answer is also yes. No, I agree that we should invest in infrastructure, IT infrastructure. In fact, in the city of Parañaque, before we just had an office for our information technology, the city of Parañaque already created a specific department for IT, and we have been investing so much on IT infrastructure. Because that is the only way. If we want to have accessible and convenient basic services to our constituents, you should digitalize. You should allow them to access your services through, kasi lahat po ng tao may cellphone na, and may computer, may internet. Hindi po sila nabubuhay without those things. So might as well go with the flow. And this is the only way. The future is really digitalization. Yun po. In other areas in the provinces, I think they can access the OTR, the ICT. I mean, because they provide IT services also. In fact. In some areas, they provide free programs, IT programs. DOH also. So there are some national government agencies that provide free IT services for the cities around the country. Kaya po siguro it's not really a handicap for other cities not to digitalize kasi nandiyan naman po ang the ICT to assist them. Yun lang po.
All right. Thank you so much, Attorney, for that answer. So our next question, this is our 8th question. This is directed again to Dr. Gomez and Attorney Voltaire de la Cruz. The question, how can we ensure that as we go through the process of computerization and digitization, that our data and information will be safe? All right, so start po siguro tayo, Attorney.
Well, we have our, we should ensure, first of all, the integrity of our records. That should be limited access. And then this should be logged access to this centralized database system. We should not be allowing just anybody to access this for us to preserve the integrity of the records. And we have also our data privacy law, which also safeguards the personal information of our constituents. And we have also our local ordinances that only that regulates also access to these records, digital records.
Yes, we have the
Well,
insights naman po siguro from Dr. Gomez.
yes. Well, in the first place, even before you computerize or digitize, I'm sure you already have some basic safeguards in terms of procedure. Now, when you start to embark on the journey of computerizing and you have either internal or external experts helping you, then they can actually design the system so that there are certain prompts or code words, passwords that make sure that whoever is accessing the data at any given time is the one authorized to do so. So in terms of design, that can be easily addressed. Now, one other way to address this, and this is something we do in Quezon City, is we have a fairly good working relationship with our legislative side. So the Sangguniang members, if we need assistance, they can pass an ordinance or a resolution saying that, we're going to have this IT system and that the following will only the following will have access, or that certain protocols have to be in place, and this is an ordinance of the city. So it's mandated by local ordinance to have certain safeguards and certain access rights, and then at the same time the IT people are designing the actual software very well, and you shouldn't lose data that way. Plus you have all the other standard agreements like non-disclosure agreements and all of these things that people sign when they become employees or consultants. So, and that should cover you for most needs.
All right, thank you, sir.
I
Any
just
additional, ma'am?
Yeah,
Sige
and I
po.
just want to add that we have a framework on data privacy, no. So I think that's something that we can use so to protect our clients' data. I think we have the right regulation, the right laws governing that. Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am, for that additional information. We are receiving a lot more of interesting questions from our active participants, but we are down into our last two questions. All right, so for our second last question, this is directed to Dr. Gomez. Right? The question natin, medyo mahaba yung question natin.
Madami, 3 questions.
Yes, 3 questions siya, sir.
Oh.
All right, so let's start. The question in the budgeting process for the fiscal year, is it possible for the agencies to prioritize the budget for the QMS or ISO 9001 to attain the standardized service experience? Siguro kung gusto niyo, sir, unahin nating sagutin itong tanong na ito or sabay-sabay na nating sagutin?
Well, sige, let me just go down I
Apo.
think I can answer that quickly, no? Well, at least in the Quezon City experience, yung budget kasi namin for ISO is, if I recall correctly, nasa city administrator. If not, nasa city mayor. So may budget talaga yan. Pag si mayor o si administrator nagsabi, it's going to happen. And yes, if it's a priority of leadership, then it will be done. If it's not a priority of leadership, then it will not be budgeted. I think it's as simple as that. Or is it the will to serve the public? I don't think it should be either or. You continue serving the public because it's your mandate. And if in serving the public along the way you get to standardize things, then it shouldn't be you choose one or the other. You can do both. Even if you don't embark on an ISO, you can embark on a standardization journey. Let's say you have a limited budget as an LGU. It doesn't stop you from improving your processes. And then the next question is, what is the process to analyze the satisfaction survey? But they tend not to ask the client in answering the survey. I think we'll have to ask DAP about that one. Medyo ano yung madaming points yung tanong, no? Internally, well, you have a number of people, like let's say in the planning department, who will analyze the survey and put the results together. But if this is ISO related, we usually get some pointers from the AP. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, sir, for answering those questions ng ating mga active participants. And we are down to our last question. This is directed para po sa lahat ng ating mga speakers. So our question is, what is the relevance of good governance or good leadership versus attaining and implementing development goals? Sorry. If a certain public servant is prone to corruption. Again, let me repeat the question. What is the relevance of good governance or good leadership versus attaining and implementing development goals if a certain public servant is prone to corruption? Who would want to start po sa ating mga speakers? Maybe we can start, Attorney Voltaire.
Well, they are directly related. No? Good governance and attaining the goals. No? But if there's a corrupt official, no? He would always be judged by the way he projects himself in terms of good governance. Kaya madaling mahuli. Because in good governance, of course, you should be transparent. You should be able to provide effective and efficient basic services. So if we don't do those things, then corruption is maybe the reason. No? So, well, they are directly related. No? Good governance and the attainment of your goals.
All right, thank you, sir. How about Dr. Gomez?
Well, in the Quezon City experience, we of course cannot claim that we have 100% pumped out corruption, no? But from my perspective, it's very important that you have good leadership and that your leaders walk the talk. If they're good models, and for example, in Quezon City, if the good leaders get a good executive team or get enough people who are interested in honest and efficient governance, then people start to see that the leaders mean business and that they're serious about running government the right way, and that slowly filters down. That doesn't happen overnight. It changes the work culture, but in Quezon City, it's becoming much harder for fixers to thrive, especially since we have our online services now, and especially because our city administrator is slowly replacing department heads with people who are honest and straight, and he calls us to account every 2 weeks and asks us, what have you done, and are there any problems in your department, and what can we do about it? So that sends the message down, and in a large bureaucracy, you need to send that message consistently every day throughout the year, and people will start to. What will happen is, in my experience now, like in the planning department, people will start to speak up, or people will start to approach you, sir kasi may ganito nangyayari. So so okay, so if I can act on it, then I'll find out and I'll act on it. Or if I need advice, I'll go up to the city administrator and he'll say, okay, he has experience in this. This is the proper procedure, and so on and so forth. And that's how people feel that if there's something wrong, it will be corrected and it will be acted upon, and the leadership is behind you. When the leadership is behind you, then things will start to work, in not just in Quezon City, but I think in the Philippines.
All right, sige po. May we hear naman from Director Saliendres?
Yeah, I think achieving development goals is well, it goes hand in hand with good governance. I don't think that you can achieve your development goals with corruption inside your if there's a corruption inside your organization. So they don't mix good governance and corruption. So I think development goals, achieving development goals, and having good governance, being accountable to the people, being transparent. I think that's how you will achieve your development goals. Thank you.
All right. Thank you to all of our speakers for your informative responses and insights. From all of the questions po ng ating mga active participants, we would like to commend din yung mga participants natin for giving out questions na napaka-interesting talaga to answer. We have reached the end of our question and answer session. The remaining questions posted in the chat box will be compiled and addressed through a response matrix that will be shared in the Google Drive folder.
Okay, so we just ended our open forum and we express our sincere gratitude to all our distinguished speakers for generously sharing their expertise and experiences with us today. At this juncture in the session, we would like to present the Certificate of Appreciation to our esteemed guest speakers. The certificate reads as follows. The Development Academy of the Philippines awards this Certificate of Appreciation to the resource persons for their invaluable contribution to the 5th Government Quality Management Program or GQMP Symposium on Service Quality Standards, translating insights from clients to standardized service experience. Given this 13th day of December 2023. Signed, Attorney Engelbert C. Caronan Jr., MNSA, President and Chief Executive Officer, Development Academy of the Philippines, and member GQMC. To award the certificate, we call again Director Evangeline M. Macariola to the stage. And may we also call on our guest speakers, Dr. Jose Edgardo A. Gomez Jr., Assistant Department Head, Quezon City Planning and Urban Revitalization Planning Office. Also joining us online, our other speaker, Attorney Voltaire de la Cruz, the City Administrator of the Parañaque City Government. Thank you so much.
All right, again, thank you very much to our speakers, and we would also like to thank everyone for joining us virtually and being an active part of this engaging discussion.
Before we officially close, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the closing remarks. And to deliver this important message, we have a highly esteemed individual who has made significant contributions to the improvement of public service delivery. We have with us the DAP Senior Vice President for Programs, Magdalena L. Mendoza. SVP Mendoza or Magdalena L. Mendoza's work entails providing high-level advisory and consultancy services to the Philippine government on public sector and management reforms and capacity development. She has rich experience in strategic reviews and reorganization, policy development and analysis, performance management, productivity measurement, quality management, and integrity development. Her intimate knowledge of the Philippine bureaucracy stems from her over 30 years of service and work experience in government. She earned her bachelor's and master's degrees in Industrial Engineering from the University of the Philippines and completed her master's in Public Administration from the Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy of the National University of Singapore as a Lee Kang-shing Scholar. Ms. Mendoza is in the roster of APO productivity experts and is credited locally and internationally for her significant contributions and relevant research and publications in the areas of governance, public sector productivity, leadership, and management. Everyone, let us all welcome Senior Vice President Magdalena L. Mendoza.
Thank you very much for that introduction, which I don't think is necessary. But at any rate, to our honored guest, DBM Secretary Amina Pangandaman, and also the chairperson of the Government Quality Management Committee, the distinguished members and representatives of the Government Quality Management Committee, to our speakers, Attorney Voltaire de la Cruz of the City Administrator of Parañaque City, Dr. Jose Edgardo Gomez Jr., Assistant Department Head of Quezon City Planning and Urban Revitalization Office, Vice President Arnel Abanto, Director Nika Saliendres from the Productivity and Development Center, to our distinguished officials and fellow public servants, ladies and gentlemen, magandang tanghali po sa inyong lahat. We've come to the final part of the symposium, and on behalf of the Development Academy of the Philippines and the Government Quality Management Committee, I would like to thank our resource speakers and all the participants for your keen attention and active participation to the GQMP's 5th Symposium on Service Quality Standards with the theme Translating Insights from Clients to Standardize Service Experience. We all appreciate a convenient and rewarding service, but this is not an easy task for the one giving the service. Knowing what our clients and the transacting public want is one of the crucial steps. Listening to their voice, having meaningful interaction, and identifying what service features drive their satisfaction are just a few modes to know more about their expectations. We in the public sector cannot afford to ignore what matters most to our clients and the transacting public, since their experience influence positively or negatively their public trust in government. Much resources are already spent in the back end of public service value chain, but what happens at the service touchpoints will make a big difference in determining, ultimately, citizen satisfaction. In the presentation of the results of the 2023 Business Satisfaction Survey, or the BizSat, we got a glimpse of the level of satisfaction and expectations on frontline government services. And notably, there are good news since we are seeing positive trends. Congratulations to Director Nika and her team for rolling out the survey last October and ensuring that they can present the results before the end of the year so that our agencies could have timely information on the core strengths, the critical gaps, and desirable service standards to sustain and also improve in the coming fiscal year. With this year's theme on translating insights from clients to standardized service experience, we recognize that agencies gather feedback from their clients in multiple ways. Some modalities are based on requirements of oversight agencies, while others are own initiatives of agencies. But the purpose is the same, that is to raise service performance. This is, of course, a very good indicator that agencies in the Philippine public sector recognize the value of developing and implementing evidence-based service quality standards. We are thankful that there are good and even best practices that we can benchmark and learn from. Agencies that made big strides in setting the trend are sources of knowledge as well as inspiration on how to deal with the challenges. Their efforts in translating insights from their clients into actions that will mean better service experience did not happen by chance. They actively listened and made the necessary changes to deliver better public services. By being consistent, determining important service attributes, capacitating service staff and managers, measuring service performance, and continuous improvement. We commend the Parañaque City government, represented today by Attorney De La Cruz, and the Quezon City government, represented by Dr. Gomez, and we sincerely thank them for taking time to share with us their experience. We hope you were inspired by their shining example, as well as enlightened on how to go about with your own service improvement efforts. It may be a long journey, but surely our efforts are worth it. Just bear in mind that in doing so, we help build trust in government and contribute to the attainment of goal of, as indicated in the Philippine Development Plan, of practicing good governance and ensuring inclusive and responsive decision-making. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat and see you in the next symposium on service quality standards and other activities of the Government Quality Management Program para sa sapat, tapat, at mahusay na serbisyo para sa lahat.
Thank you, Senior Vice President for Programs, Magdalena L. Mendoza. As we come to the end of this symposium, let us take a moment to reflect on the knowledge we have gained. We have seen how various government agencies and experts have shared their experiences and best practices in using evidence-based service quality standards to improve the design and delivery of government services. We hope that these learnings will inspire us to take action toward achieving better public service and greater citizen satisfaction. Let us not forget that our work in the public sector is ultimately for the benefit of our citizens.
Thank you, everyone, for your participation in this incredibly informative and engaging symposium. We trust that you have acquired valuable insights and practical knowledge applicable to your respective organizations. All the presentation materials will be made available after the event in a Google Drive folder accessible through the link displayed on the screen and in the chat boxes for your reference. Before we end this symposium, we would like to capture an official event photo to document this successful program. We invite everyone again to switch on their cameras and strike a pose in front of their screens. Let us give our best smiles for the camera. All right, we have 21 panels to capture with, so please hold on to your smiles, to your brightest smiles in front of your cameras. To our Zoom ushers, ready? All right, we are ready in 3, 2, and 1. Hold on to your smiles. We're moving to the next panel. 3, 2, and 1. All right, moving on. 3, 2, and 1. 3, 2, and 1. We are on to our 10th panel. 3, 2, and 1. All right, we are down to our last 8 panel. 3, 2, and 1. Last 5 panels. 3, 2, and 1. 3, 2, and 1. Last 2 panels to go. 3, 2, and 1. And we are down to our last panel. All right, thank you so much, everyone.
Please remember to complete the evaluation form that will be distributed following this event. Your feedback is important in helping us enhance future events and meet your expectations. When filling out the evaluation survey, kindly input your complete name in the format, first name, space, middle initial, space, and then your last name. Your name provided here and on the attendance sheet will be used for your e-certificate of attendance. Upon completing the post-symposium evaluation survey and logging in the attendance sheet, you will receive an electronic certificate of attendance once available. Also, in compliance with ARTA requirements, kindly fill out the DAP, Customer Satisfaction Measurement or CSM.
Also, don't forget to follow DAP social media accounts for updates on our upcoming events and training programs. With that, we bring this symposium to a close. On behalf of the DAP and GQMP, our heartfelt thanks go out to all of our speakers, participants, and everyone who contributed to the success of this event. Once more, thank you all for being part of today's symposium.
We wish you all a fantastic day ahead, and let's persist in our pursuit of improved public service and a more citizen-centered government. Thank you, and we eagerly anticipate your presence at our upcoming events. Have a wonderful day and stay safe. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Mahusay na uri ng trabaho, maraming nagagawang produkto, binhing itatanim sa ating mga puso, tutubo't lalaki at lalago. Kapag ang puno ay matibay, mga sangay mayabong at malabay, hitik sa mga bunga ng ating paglikha, biyaya ng sipag at tiyaga. Mabuhay ka, mabuhay ka, mahusay at marami kang nagagawa. Mabuhay ka't mabuhay rin ang ating adhika, paunlarin itong bansa. Magbuhat sa iba't ibang larangan, karunungan at wastong pamamaraan, mula sa kanayunan hanggang kalunsuran, isulong ang ating kaunlaran. Mabuhay ka, mabuhay ka, mahusay ang